Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here. Remember to subscribe for the latest videos. Today's story is raw, emotional, and deeply inspiring. We dive into Demi Moore's powerful new Time 100 interview, where she speaks openly about aging, pain, reinvention, and why she's never been more fearless. In an industry where time seems to devour women and worship youth, Demi Moore is standing tall, serene, and surprisingly stronger than ever before. At 62, she graced the Time 100 list in 2025, not just as a symbol of her legacy, but as a living, breathing voice for reinvention, resilience, and radical honesty. Her interview isn't just a Hollywood puff piece. It's a roadmap to emotional survival, a raw testament to a woman who has lived through the highs of box office hits and the gut-wrenching lows of addiction, trauma, heartbreak, and loss. When Demi Moore sat down to speak about her new film, The Substance, a feminist body horror exploration of aging and identity, it became clear that this wasn't just a comeback. It was a reckoning. Gone is the woman who was once the most bankable star in the world during the 90s, the glossy figure from Ghost, Indecent Proposal, and G.I. Jane. In her place is a woman weathered by life, but fiercely unapologetic, a woman who has stared down the darkest parts of herself and emerged with clarity. And what she had to say, it wasn't just personal, it was revolutionary. The world saw her as a front-runner for the Oscar this year, a performance so compelling that critics called it career-defining. Yet when the envelope was opened, the award went to Mikey Madison. Did Demi recoil? Did she spiral? No. She accepted it with grace, a knowing smile, and a stunning truth. Sometimes you're not meant to win, and that's where the real victory begins. That single quote echoes the kind of wisdom only a woman who has truly lived can offer. Her journey is not just about aging, it's about awakening. Demi's reflection on aging is both tender and defiant. She explains that for decades, she battled to hold on to the image Hollywood demanded, but now she's let it go. The pressure to remain youthful, she says, is like an invisible chain, especially for women in Hollywood. She admits to being pulled under by that tide, to chasing beauty standards that left her feeling empty. But today, she views her wrinkles as survival lines, each one etched by years of navigating fame, motherhood, abuse, and public judgment. I'm proud of the lines on my face, she says. They're proof I survived. This isn't just an actress promoting a movie. It's a woman dismantling the systems that once consumed her. Demi dives deeper into her past, touching on trauma that shaped her long before she ever walked onto a soundstage. She speaks of her complicated relationship with her mother, the instability of her youth, and the addiction cycles that followed her into adulthood. When you grow up feeling unsafe, she says, you become very good at pretending. It's this revelation that makes her performance in The Substance so haunting. Because it isn't entirely fiction, the movie shows two versions of a woman, one young and glamorous, the other aged and discarded. For Demi, it mirrored her own battle between the public persona and the private self, one constantly smiling, the other quietly breaking. In sharing this, she's done what few in Hollywood dare. She's told the whole truth. She opens up about her years of substance abuse, the relapses, the interventions, and the recovery that came not from fame, but from facing herself in the mirror when no one was watching. Fame didn't save me, she admits. It nearly broke me. And when the spotlight faded, what remained was a woman clawing back her life, one breath at a time. Her candidness about addiction isn't designed to shock. It's meant to connect. Shame keeps people silent, Demi says. But I've learned that the only way out is through. This lesson is one she's trying to pass on, not just to her fans, but to her daughters. As a mother to Rumor, Scout, and Tallulah, Demi shares how recovery allowed her to rebuild those bonds, slowly, brick by brick. She's especially proud of how open they are with their own healing journeys, saying, "They've taught me just as much as I've taught them." It's these intergenerational stories that give her current chapter so much emotional depth. She's no longer performing, she's revealing. The interview also explores her time in and out of the public eye, the tabloid headlines, the harsh scrutiny after her breakup with Ashton Kutcher, and the way society seemed to mock her pain. "I became a punchline," she recalls, "and I didn't know how to stop it. But instead of fighting back with anger, she withdrew and did the work in silence." The Demi Moore we see today is someone who has done the shadow work, therapy, self-reflection, spirituality, and emerged with empathy. She doesn't harbor bitterness. She harbors wisdom. She talks about how age has liberated her, not constrained her. In a culture obsessed with youth, Demi's greatest rebellion is not trying to compete with it. "I don't want to be 30 again," she smiles. "I want to be 62 and fearless." And fearless she is. She shaved her head for G.I. Jane, posed nude at 49 for Harper's Bazaar, and now she's standing in front of the world, scars and all, saying, "This is me." Her performance in The Substance is more than a role. It's a manifestation of everything she's lived through. It's no surprise that critics called her brilliant, unsettling, and breathtaking. But it's Demi's own words that leave the deepest impression. "I don't need the industry to validate me anymore. I validate myself." She reflects on her early years in film, when she constantly feared being replaced. "If I gained weight, I felt like I'd lose my worth," she confesses. "If I aged, I felt invisible." But now, she's turning that invisibility into power, choosing roles that challenge ageist stereotypes, and producing stories that center women past 50. Demi doesn't just want longevity. She wants to redefine what it means to be relevant. And in doing so, she's becoming a role model for an entirely new generation of actresses and creators. Younger stars now look to her not just as a Hollywood icon, but as a symbol of survival, of transformation, of depth. She's also an advocate, working with organizations that support women in recovery, survivors of abuse, and those navigating mental health challenges. Healing is a collective process. She says, "We need each other." Her vulnerability has opened doors for others to speak, and that is perhaps her greatest legacy. No longer the girl in the movie poster, Demi Moore is now the woman behind the movement. As the interview wraps up, she's asked what her proudest achievement is. Her answer isn't an award or a box office number. It's simple. "I'm still here." And in that statement is a universe of emotion. A woman who nearly lost everything, who was betrayed by fame, who faced herself and chose to rebuild, who now, at 62, has nothing to prove but everything to give. She leaves readers and fans with a message. Your worth isn't tied to what you look like, how many people applaud, or what you've lost. Your worth is who you become when no one's watching. For anyone struggling with aging, identity, addiction, or shame, Demi Moore's story is not just a biography. It's a lifeline. It's a reminder that beauty doesn't fade. It evolves. That strength doesn't come from perfection. It comes from surviving. And that the second act can be more powerful than the first. As her name trends once again, it's not because she's young and flawless, but because she's wise, fierce, and finally free. Thanks for watching Daily Gossip. If Demi Moore's story touched you, hit the like button, subscribe for more powerful Hollywood journeys, and share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is Demi's greatest legacy? Until next time, keep believing in second chances and never be afraid to evolve.